Elka,
Hey Alka, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, good morning.
good evening,
And,
good morning, good afternoon.
and we are live. Perfect timing, Alka.
I want to show you guys something really cute. It's got
Yeah,
no relevance to nothing at all, but it's just something really sweet.
It's 1 in the afternoon for you, right, Bernie?
Ooh, yes,
oh,
one.
wow. And that movie.
Wow.
Oh,
Hold on. Let me pin
hey,
you.
wait. Is this alive? No,
No,
No.
it's,
I really thought for a second that you really have a bird.
it's mechanical.
Oh,
What?
no way.
looks good though.
No way.
Good
Bound for
for you.
Wow. Did you make it?
No, no.
Okay.
I just got this as a Secret Santa
Oh
gift.
wow, that's cool.
Isn't
nice.
this so cute?
Wow, the,
Yes.
the the tiny motors and the actions that it does, it really looked like it was chirping.
Real.
You know,
It's real. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
The eyes are so sweet.
well, thank you for showing us that. That's a good way to start this meeting.
Very nice.
All right. Okay, so we are live. It's Monday morning, and we are working with the book The Invocation of Presence, chapter 9. Uh, let me share my screen. Okay. I believe we stopped on page 64 last week, but again, we have already read this chapter completely, and we had spent like one more week on it. Uh, I guess it's just 2 pages, so we can read it again and finish it and see if there is anything else that comes up.
Hmm, okay.
Let's just yeah, we just since we stopped at this image, let's just look at it for a second and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Alka, do you want to get us started?
Yes. Do you want me to start from the beginning of the chapter or from sociable?
Uh, you can let's see. Well, you can just start reading, I think, at the beginning of this page.
Okay.
Just start.
Sociable. He offered. Having a good time. P said. Taking a break. M said. Indulgence. T said. Being satisfied with myself and with other people. D offered. The group thought of numerous ways to complete this statement, such as I am just ellipsis passing time, giving you some feedback for your own good in a work way, listening to gossip because they wanted to talk to someone. Evidently, everything is organic emotion. M concluded. Complete the phrase, it is not opinion, it is just my karma, it is just my posture. I'm just laughing at a joke. It is funny. I'm having I'm just having fun. I suppose this is also the case with the display of piety and sanctity. What is not negative or organic emotion? K asked. X, what are you eating? G asked. Nothing, X replied. What was on your finger? G asked. I was just licking my finger because I had dipped it accidentally in some of Y's, her infant daughter's, food. X explained. What's wrong with that? Nothing. G chuckled, answering his own question. How would you recognize an organic emotion ordinarily identified as something else? By trying to break the state? D asked. States considered exalted are usually some form of organic emotion. G said. Some states you consider ordinary, even necessary, you cannot imagine functioning without them. Yet, they are also organic emotions. For instance, what do you do when you greet someone for the first time? Shake hands, smile. Imagine encountering the same person while walking in a hallway at work 6 times in the same day. The first encounter would be a very cheerful greeting, perhaps pausing for a short time to chat, depending on your mood at the moment. The second encounter would be a friendly greeting. The third would be a quick, superficial acknowledgement. The fourth, a flat exchange of glances. The fifth time, you would both make serious and even elaborate efforts to avoid crossing paths. However, it is stupid to eliminate organic emotion and negative manifestations from your repertoire because they serve to help you to invoke presence. Should it ever happen that you no longer can have organic community like this, with darlings like yourself, who would never be caught dead in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, to provide the necessary negative force for your invocations. And I should pass.
I think there's just one paragraph that's remaining in the chapter.
There are two additional questions to consider tonight. First, how to invoke. Secondly, how to provide the invocation with the continuing momentum. G left the chamber to retire for the evening.
So go back up a little bit. That's far enough, yeah. Let's see. Right near about 2/3 of the way down. How would you recognize an organic emotion ordinarily identified as something else? So wasn't this part of the question that Nishant had last time?
Yeah.
So did you ever get an answer to that? Who was supposed to get the answer to that? No, Swati or maybe Elko is supposed to get us the answer.
I wasn't there the last time, I'm sorry.
Right, that's why. That's the reason.
So you don't have your joke prepared either. You didn't, you didn't get the exercise, huh?
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Do you guys remember the exercise that David had given us last week?
Now I remember.
Uh-oh. Now she remembers. Wait, here's my list of and there's the practical work on self. We also used to call it the Big 24 because there's 24 chapters. And then here's the excuses. I only have 17 excuses. So um, I, I hadn't had time. I wasn't hired for that. I thought it was I thought it was better to wait than to do it wrong. I didn't think it was that important. I thought I'd begin tomorrow. I like to think things out before commencing. I wasn't quite sure what to do. No one ever told me how, and so on and so forth.
I can do that exercise right now. Can I tell you guys a joke?
Oh
Good.
my God. I thought we were supposed to answer the question on what's an organic emotion, Nikhil.
But since we are here at the joke, do you want to hear a joke, David?
It's your
Yes.
class, dude.
Ask me what's the most important thing in comedy, David said.
What's that?
Ask me what's the most important thing in comedy.
What is the most important thing
Timing.
in comedy? Oh. Ah, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
So, what is organic emotion?
So first of all, what are negative emotions? What's a negative emotion?
Guilt, shame, anger, passivity.
Those are descriptions of manifested negative emotions. Come on, remember HBM, you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we haven't done HBM yet. We
The
I
the
was
thing
just
I the thing that helps me, I mean, it's just to remember it's a low vibration. That I know.
so
Maybe.
we have a
Mhm.
list of emotions, low vibration. EJ has the most technical definition of what a negative emotion is. It's the mechanical reaction
Mechanical. Yeah.
to anything. That doesn't limit it to being the dark emotions like anger, sad, but it could also be like the joy you feel when you get an ego boost, you know.
Enthusiast. Yeah, enthusiast.
Yeah, like you're excited, enthusiastic. Oh yeah, let's do this now. Let's do this now. And then 5 minutes later, you forget the project. So
Yeah,
it's reaction.
mechanical.
So it's like the external causes that reaction.
It's also like a reflex. Like it sometimes mentioned knee jerk,
Yeah, that's a good. It's
a
like a
knee
knee
jerk
jerk. Uh,
reaction.
yeah. I won't bring it up.
please
Yes,
do.
So, Michelle, do you remember when you were asleep in class?
yes, I did.
I mean, you
And
were really,
you call my
really.
name? Is that you call my name? And I woke up.
I called your name a few times, by the way, and
Oh,
you weren't snoring too loud. It wasn't really bad, just enough that we all had to turn our speakers down. you know. But when the moment I woke you, you not I didn't wake you up, but the moment you woke up, was there? What was that emotion?
well,
Right?
I heard my name. I heard that name,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was before. I thought it was the first time. So my first reaction was, I don't know. I said, oh my God, what happened?
Okay, a little bit. That's probably honest. Like it's like wonder, right? There's like
Mhm.
this moment of wonder, and then what happened?
Oh my God, I'm beginning to see, I fall asleep and then I'm beginning to wonder what happened. But that's the same. Yeah,
Like a little bit of embarrassment.
yeah, curious. Yeah, I would have like, yeah, yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's kind of the typical, right?
Yeah.
So that's an
And
example of that's a normal.
worrying about how I was looking, what did I do? Yeah, if I snored, if I look weird and stuff.
But I think, David, what you were asking was very important. That moment when she woke up, she had a chance to observe what manifested.
And she did,
I
because
think,
she's highly trained at that work.
right, in HBM, I remember reading waking up in the wee hours of the night and asking someone else to tell your first reaction. That would be your defense mechanism. I remember something related to that in HBM.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So organic would be something that arises from within. Okay. Now, Nikhil and Bernie, what is the reading group that you do in the mornings?
We read the Clearlight Prayer, the ABD chapter, chamber, and mostly the um, angelic book.
Angel's Healing Journey.
Yes,
Healing journey.
Angel's Healing Journey. Yes, we do
It
those.
is healing journey.
We also
Yes.
usually start with the Book of Sacraments. We read 3 verses every day.
Yes, also the Book of Sacraments.
Okay. Now, the moment you come into to the class, you're in a particular state. It could be any state. It could be, I don't know what time it is that you meet, but it could be, man, I'm really tired. Uh, why me? But then you just start working on these documents, right?
Mm. Yes.
And then something starts to happen at some point in that arc of experience. For those of us who have been reading for a little bit, the second you say the following words, now I am experiencing the clear light of objective reality. That's an organic emotion. Okay. It's not human. It's not dependent on, it's your soul coming out and reaching.
Mm.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And the next lines, yes, now that you name it, the next line is very powerful. Nothing is happening. Nothing ever has happened or ever will happen.
Yeah.
That's a that's a line from somewhere, no, not from here.
And if you remember, sometimes you're actually reading this to a voyager.
Mm.
So a voyager is hurtling through the unknown bardos. They've separated from their body and they're in the great unknown. And you read the following lines to Jimmy, and you go, now I am experiencing the clear light of objective reality. The Voyager has something to grab at that moment, right? Maybe, if they can hear.
Yes,
So
yes.
these guys get up in the middle of the morning, middle of the night, and start doing this kind of work. And it can be 100% mechanical when they start. Okay. You know, I don't want to come today. I got important things to do. I've got studying. But the very nature of the product, these readings, the obligatory readers, invocation, the clear light, the things that these other things that they're reading, the nature of them in themselves pulls you out of the organic because they don't stand on any organic, do they?
No.
Mhm.
So you get washed by it. Part of our job in this book here, The Invocation of Presence, is to discern what does it feel like to be in an organic emotion? What does it feel like when I am in presence, when I have invoked my presence? What is the vibratory sensation like? Michelle said that when she's in the negative emotion, it's a lower vibratory sensation. She's right. But what does that mean? That's intellectual. We taste it. And then you can use that taste as a guide in finding your way, even in the most tumultuous situations. And what EJ is giving us here in the invocation of presence, if you look at um, the very last paragraph that Elka read, first, how to invoke. I think we've discussed that a lot. How to provide the momentum. And this book is one thing that's interesting about it is that it says, why don't you just use your negative emotions to help you? Because you have them all day long. There's nothing wrong with having negative emotions. He even implies that here. It's just part of life, right? Existence gives rise to that. So use it. So, just
So
some
the
thought.
first step to use it is to be aware of it. Yes, you would say so.
Well, to be aware of it, but to start um, discerning, yeah, to be aware of the fact, oh my God, I'm reacting now. She said that I was a real jerk for not being able to finish the kitchen fast enough. For why didn't I do this, this, and this while I was in the kitchen? And why is she always criticizing me or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And your brain, I mean, you have to actually thank the biological machine because it's trying to protect you, right?
Mm.
It's just trying to help you and it's reacting against it
Mm-hmm.
because that's all it knows.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch it react and you go, man, I really react. Look at this. This is what reaction feels like. It's got this flavor. It's got tastes a little bit like pepper, you know, mixed in with a little bit of this.
So when you done it, you did it, you blow it, you just say you reacted, you say something. So then what? Then you realize it, okay, I did it, but
Well, the first
Often.
thing, let me pause you there for a minute.
Mhm.
First thing is never think of it that you blew it. Okay. That's a judgment. You didn't judge, you didn't blow it, you just reacted. It's just a fact. It's an observation. You go, oh, look at that reaction going on. And there's like an objective observation, and you embrace the objectivity. Then you start to see that reaction also has energy to it. Use the energy. That's what he's just telling us. He doesn't want you to change the fact that you react. He says, it's there anyway. Why don't you use it?
Use it by transforming it. That's an interesting. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you use it, but you cannot just use it raw or or, or that's
Well,
the
no.
key, the magic. How do you transform it? Yeah.
Okay. So you're not trying to transform it. That has the implications of changing it. I'm going to change the fact that I react when someone criticizes me. I'm really going to change that. And all you wind up doing is burying it. Okay. So it's
So
not a matter of transforming it, but observing it, embracing it, loving it. Love the fact that, wow, that's interesting. That's the cleansing radiation that enrobes it. Okay. So if you judge it, you shut it down. But if you just accept, this is who Michelle Marie is. Oh my goodness, that is very interesting. This kind of look from somebody, and I react. It reacts. There's a reaction. Interesting.
So that on itself can be helping to invoke the cleansing radiation, is what you're saying?
No, the observation of it is the cleansing radiation, the objective observation. So you're having the emotion and you're observing it, not changing it. And if you actually have a goal of never, ever, ever, ever changing it, just observing it, because all that happens is you may never change it, but your identification with it gets less. You're not identified. And then it just goes. And it also loses its power. But that's not the goal. The goal is the exercise of your beautiful objective observation. Does this make sense now? A little bit?
Yeah, so to simplify, you would say the key is to observe. I mean, I knew that, but it's just always coming back to that observation, objective
100%.
observation is the key to
Yeah.
cleansing radiation, transformation, evolution.
Well, if you judge it, if you notice judgment is another negative emotion, okay? And if you notice that you're judging it,
Yes.
then you can say, oh, okay, I'm not really observing it right now, am I? We are the laboratory experiment, the experiment.
Yeah, it feels so good to get to grasp that feeling that we can do it all if we want to. If we realize we can, we have that power. But often we don't use it because it's very, very important, very subtle how to figure it all out. Mhm.
Well, this is the practice of discernment, okay? Of discerning the difference between things. Don't avoid the negative emotions, observe the negative emotions. And one element of every negative emotion is it has energy. And so, how do you provide invocation with a continuing momentum? I'm loaded with negative emotions, so I got plenty, plenty of material to provide me.
I had an event this week that was like a very good case for me to observe myself. I mean, the event was pretty harmless. I was just playing video games. I was playing football, and at certain moment, you need an internet connection, and something went wrong, and I couldn't play. And at that time, I had such an intense reaction to it because I was trying to win the game, and something happened and the game stopped working at that point. And I remember I was so furious that I was almost about to throw my controller away. That impulse I had, and I'm like, and I had that moment to just observe myself. I'm like, look at me doing this stupid stuff, you know.
Wait,
uh,
you're going to throw your computer away?
the controller that you used,
Oh.
handheld controller, you know. And I have done that before. I am guilty of that. I have broken my controller before as a kid. Uh, but at that point, when I saw all the emotions that I was going through, I had a chance to observe myself. And there was a transition point where before I was feeling all these emotions. And then after that moment, there was a release of that. And I realized, oh, that was not real. All that feeling, all those things that I was feeling just a few seconds ago, it felt really real, but it wasn't. Because if it was real, then what am I experiencing right now? What is this then?
Okay, let me jump in a little bit here, okay?
Please do.
Okay. First of all, the gold was in the reaction, not in your analysis of it.
Right.
That's the mental centrum coming in later and saying, "Oh, that wasn't real." But when you were totally insane, because you lost the game or whatever happened, the internet can't went down. That's where there was some real beauty. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're totally mechanical, out of control, nutcase, gonna break your machine. But that's where your work was right there, Nikia. Because that's where all that energy is. What if you could use that energy in order to use the energy? I mean, I can't wait for the next time you're playing a video game and the power goes out. Then now you're slightly more ready to observe how the machine that you inhabit works.
So when we are in that space of high energy, angry or very strong, feeling upsetting, so now it's perfect. Yeah, use that. So use it. So use it. So maybe stop. Yeah, stop exercise is the first things to be able to use it. No,
Not
where do I
necessarily.
begin?
Like,
Where do I begin?
so in his case, if he could have caught it while it was going on, don't stop it at all.
Exactly.
So, Bhavani.
Oh yeah, it's I'm sorry. It's remind me something of voluntarilize, do the same thing by voluntarilize, whatever it is, make it voluntary. That was another exercise, yes, also possible.
Well, that's one of in the practical work on self, but in this case, just don't avoid it. Embrace the fact that you're insane, because you were insane at that moment. That was a form of insanity. Fortunately for everybody, mostly yourself, it didn't sustain itself. Which,
David, we are so programmed from
yeah,
youth or from being children that is it's so difficult to grasp what we are trying to communicate because we are programmed to avoid. Um, let me start again. You can use also in this case what you're saying. You can use also a very joyful reaction. I
absolutely.
am very happy. That is when you realize that is when you realize again. Sorry, you realize that this exercise has not to do with what we call negative uh, reactions that we have to shun. Oh no, I don't want that person. I don't want to react that way. But this is not the case. But it's difficult to grasp. I tell you, in my case also, no, because I'm listening. What you say is very subtle, because what EJ or you in this case are referring is something that we have to be grateful for this kind of reactions that can make us. Uh,
Yes, there you
um,
go. Beautiful. We have to be
yes,
grateful for it.
yes, but not only the what we call negative. Any reaction. In reality, any reaction that is not voluntary in the sense of evolutionary voluntary is a reaction. It's a reaction, and it's a storage of energy that can be used or not. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Many of us don't use that. We only try to change it or get over it. No, you know. But when it's a nice, what we call nice feeling, we don't go over this.
Mm.
You know? we are very happy and yes and no. But it's also a reaction. Yes, reaction, a
Also
stimulus.
a reaction, 100%.
But it's difficult to
That's
grasp.
why.
It's very difficult. I understand that it's very
But
because it goes.
if you hone your observation,
Mm,
you'll be you'll notice the positive reaction just as much. When someone's telling you, you look so good. I really like your beard. I just really, I haven't seen you with that and it looks so good and like that. Guess what happens in me?
mm.
The ego starts going, wow, cool, right?
But
Go ahead.
when we observe, like, for example, I'm observing a lot of anger in myself recently. When there are obvious manifestations. It's not that I am getting angry, but I am assessing it even after it happens. But there is a slight bit of observation while it is happening that, oh, temperature is rising, right? But when you are observing it, there is a little bit of a shift in your,
Yes,
just that observation can
yes,
shift
you're right.
the manifestation or consequent actions. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. I'm not, you know, the moment. So what we're really talking is the sensing mechanism, right? If
Yeah.
the sensing mechanism comes alive at that moment, even if you're in the midst of this great anger or whatever the heck was going on in Nikhil and his gaming
Sanity.
thing,
Insanity.
insanity, whatever that was, if the sensing mechanism comes up, there's a lessening of its power. But here's the thing, Elka, it's the lessening of its power over me.
Hmm.
There's slightly less identification with it. Because when you're in the midst of it, if you can't observe it at all, then the answer is, I am that. I am an angry person.
It could also, even if it is manifested, and for example, I speak sharply to someone, and then I express regret that I think I was a little harsh, and I'm working on it. So you say that it's WIP, and it's not that I am that. Uh, there's an acknowledgement of the work in progress, of the shift when you are sharing the negative manifestation of how you reacted.
But the regret is again a reaction. Do you get
Yeah. Regret is
I
just
regret,
a,
but it's more of a, because it's not my personal regret. It's regret that you've hurt someone because of being harsh, and you want to tell them that they don't need to feel so bad, because this is, if you have 10 things to work on, and I'm talking as a senior to my team, if you have those 8 things that you do acknowledge that you have to work, I also have these 2 things that I am working on. So please bear with me like that.
you can take the sharing down, Nikhil.
Oh,
But again, Alka, the point is that if the observation is there, then you said it, but then it ends there. But because the mind is there, it's going to keep trying to go back to it and make you feel regretful. So if we understand that mental constant going on, so if
Yeah.
you said it, that's it, period. The body responded, and then it
Yeah.
ended. But
So
what
it's more of a constructive when I am sharing, because I am including somebody else in my reaction, right? And they don't really deserve that kind of a thing. I don't want them to feel bad because they entrust some part of their, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
with
let's
you.
discern a little bit here. There's an external, what's called external considering. Like if you yell at somebody or you're short with somebody, whatever it is, and then you apologize to them, that might be um, that might be appropriate for the society, right? To get along in society. If you're guilty about the fact that you did it, it's the guilt that is also a negative emotion, though. It may be very appropriate to say to the person, you know, um, Janet, I'm sorry that I yelled at you. That was really stupid. Or in Nikhil's case, Frank, I'm sorry I broke your computer, but the power went out. Or whatever it was.
Where, like, even when all of this is happening, like, it's like guilt arises for a second, then you realize it's a
Sure.
negative emotion, and next time it happens, you're like, guilt is not the answer. You have to just work on it. There is certain bit of friction that happens when repeated patterns of these things happen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
eventually you realize that only changing your behavior and observing more and more is going to salvage the situation, or appropriate actions that can reduce such reactions are going to help it.
but
Uh,
Alka, why do you want to change again? The question is, the whole point is, can you observe this beautiful machine that reacts or responds the way the way it's doing, but just to be like the second person. For example,
I have to consider, like, I have to, because there are other people involved. And if I am just observing and the other person starts feeling miserable about how I spoke to them, that's not fair on them.
oh no,
Um,
you respond however socially it's necessary. Whatever is necessary, let it happen. But even when it's happening, for example, socially, say you said sorry to the other person or you apologized, can you?
sorry either. I just said it's just work in progress. That's all. I tend to get harsh sometimes. I'm working on it.
But just to see it, like even if you're harsh, just see that you're harsh. That's it. Not to judge or feel guilt. Like, can you get to
No, there's no judgment or guilt, but there's definitely some disturbance when you see yourself behaving in a certain way.
So for me, the best example is when
Earlier, there used to be guilt for sure.
so I wanted to, for example, like for me, what happens best is when I see my kids, because one is 5, so I see that they have a certain point of reaction. For example, they want to see a tablet and I don't get to, I don't show it to them. So then they start reacting, so it's so amazing to see that they'll scream and they'll say, oh no, I want it, and I want it for this much time and that much time, and then I react to that, and I'm seeing this entire reaction, and then I notice that their body is so amazing that it picks up a certain tone to make me want to give it to them. So the entire point that I noticed in them, I suddenly noticed in myself that I either raise my voice or I tone myself a certain way that I don't give it to them. So if you see this game
Yeah.
play,
Yeah, absolutely.
you-
Yeah. These, I just have started seeing them as mediums of, like, these are just opportunities by the end of it. More and more opportunities will keep coming in one form or another, and you have to just keep improving your game.
The best gift you can give to somebody who you react to, the best gift you can give them socially, sometimes I think it is important to apologize or to acknowledge it. But the best gift you can give them in the long run is to observe yourself, notice it, listen to the mechanics of it. That's blessing. That's just how your machine happens to work. Some other machines won't get angry at the same thing that you get angry at. And you go, they didn't get angry? Why didn't that person get angry? Did they see how unjust this is? Well, that's how it works. Okay. It's our machine.
But you also see, while you're seeing yourself, you also see why those people are behaving how they're behaving. Like, what is in it
Yes.
that is uh,
Yeah.
making them do the things that they shouldn't be doing.
and Alka, like I would like to add, what happens is that when I talk, I feel that I irritate people a lot. Like I literally feel that. And I could sense their expressions, their emotions, like all the time, all the time. But
Yeah.
I don't change it. Like this is me, So I just keep observing how irritating am I becoming with the language or with this, and I'm just observing it. And I observe the reaction of the people, the way they respond. Because
They will get used to it. People can get used to anything.
what about getting used to? Like, even if people who are just like on the block suddenly say, if I don't know how to talk in a certain way, I see the people's reaction, like if I'm walking, I literally, the thing is that at some point I have no sense of how to talk. I sense that, like my words don't come out right, 90% of the time. And I sense that. And the thing is to just sense that, oh, you can be irritating and you're irritating the other person, but so be it, like that's me. So what you see is that you just accept whoever you are, but you just make sure that it's to the point where it's not too much. So you try to shut up where necessary, but like, but this is how the body is, and this is how your personality is. So if you could just embrace it, then what happens is that something like, basically you just accept it, however you are, whoever you are.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
mind is, body is,
And the more you accept yourself, people around you also start accepting you. This is how she is.
I just
But the
want
thing is that brings you to the present moment, and then
Yes.
and it brings everybody else to the present moment itself, because you are angry at 1 second, and then other second you are all happy and you're showing love and all of that. It also kind of triggers something in people around you, that they're not identified with one instance, and they're not making me into a portrait just because of one thing. And there are other, so the sense of fairness and justice, and um, just taking things on face value, whatever is in 1 minute to the next, kind of becomes a norm for people
Well,
around you.
I have an opportunity every Wednesday night to observe myself because I know I'm going to react. Okay. So I do this class at 7 o'clock Pacific time on the Secret Talks Volume 9. And it's kind of, the administration of it is kind of complex because you're sharing the screen, you're sharing the data, but then I have to go through the chapter, I have to call on people, right? And I'm always fortunate because my co-host is Ivan, and I'm fortunate because he's almost always late. Now, when he's late, now he doesn't necessarily mean he's late to the class, like he doesn't like 7:10. A lot of people believe the class starts at 7:05, I think, even though it says 7. I get to react to that too. So while I'm waiting there, I've got the Zoom is up. I'm ready to go. I'm waiting because I need to make sure Ivan knows which chapter we're on, and can he even share his screen properly, right? And as we get closer and he gets later, this thing starts happening in my body, and it's right here. It's this tension, okay? And thank God Ivan's not in the room, but it's like I want to tear his head off. So that happens every time he's late, which thankful for me, it's every week. So this coming Wednesday, I'll start the Zoom about 20 of. Bernie almost always gets there early. And then I'm sitting there waiting for Ivan. Do you think I'm going to have that reaction again this coming Wednesday?
yes.
No, no, well,
But it's this machine, and it kind of doesn't matter psychologically. I mean, why do I do this? I want to be in control, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Who cares? The gold is in the fact that I react. This machine reacts in that way. So over the months that we've been doing this, and I'm observing it, my relationship to that mechanical reaction has changed. It hasn't necessarily changed. It's not as powerful as it used to be. I am less identified with it.
Yeah.
It's still going, but it's just there, and I kind of wave to it.
Mm.
Now, think about this for a minute. Me sharing this in this space is an example of what other process we talked about 3 chapters ago.
Confession.
Yes, good for you. And it's not like the confession of the Catholic Church, which most of you don't go to, but some of us did, where you confess your sins to the priest and he forgives you.
Mm.
I'm saying to the universe, I am not that. To this objective group of voyagers, the fact that Nikhil even shared his outburst is a beautiful beginning.
Mm.
But his favorite tool of buffering took over right away, of course, where he starts going, oh, but then I looked at it and I noticed this isn't real. None of it's real. And his mental centrum takes over. That's where he likes to live. He doesn't like to live in all that emotional garbage, right, Nikhil?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do like to live in emotional garbage. Why not?
Apparently.
And emotional factor.
So
David,
EJ is saying, go ahead,
David,
burning.
when I was listening, and uh, the way you are expressing, or we try to express, when you say the machine, this is not me. A classic psychologist or psychiatrist would say, probably would say, we are schizophrenic. Is that the word in English?
Schizophrenic.
Um,
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenic, multiple personalities. But so that is why we have to be careful that this is not psychotherapy.
Yeah.
We are
Exactly.
dealing with something more subtle, and it's difficult. You say again, it's difficult to grasp because we are programmed to shun what the negative parts of ourselves and be good, nice people, good children, obey, all that all that stuff. The
Really.
religion, the religion. So I try to remember that we are not here for that purpose because we can find that everywhere, in the new wave and
Absolutely.
better,
Absolutely.
But
Bernie,
anyway, eh?
yeah. No, Bernie exactly said what I was going to say, that we don't live in the negative emotion because we are trained not to since we were little. That do not express your anger, do not do this, do not do that. So we have been trained to do that. That's why, the first thing happens is to try to feel that we did something wrong and try to go away from it, right? So
Hmm. Yes, yes.
I was also thinking on after what Bernie said on what I said earlier, that when you're too much in present moment, 1 second you're laughing. The flip side of it is that a lot of people tend to mistake you for a psychotic person. But just prepared.
Oh, well.
That goes with the territory, Alka.
I've been found out. We're a little bit over time, but I want to emphasize something that Bernie said that I think is critical. Psychologists will say, well, yeah, that's part of you, who you are too. You're like, that is you too. And I say, no, it isn't. It's in me, but they don't discern between my higher selves and my lower selves. I do. I wish to vote for my higher self. So I go and I read sacred text early in the morning, you know, and so it's in there, but I don't acknowledge that it is me. It's in this bucket that I have here.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
It's
All right.
between being a victim kind of it or not. Yeah, it's a choice. Yeah.
Embracing, basically, right?
yeah, you're embracing what's
Mhm.
there. You're not running away from it, and you're noticing it with the powerful beauty of objectivity. So we never got to our exercise for today, right?
Was
Which
there an
one?
exercise?
The
The
joke.
joke? The joke? Or which one?
I
What
chose
was the exercise again, Swati? She probably left.
Of course.
Does
Which
anybody
one?
remember? Was there even an exercise?
Wasn't there a point to say a joke to someone?
When Nikhil did it.
Well, the exercise was during the week, and we can just pretend that this is that we're beginning today. Find a time when you can tell a joke to somebody else.
Yes, now I remember.
Observe their reactions and yours as you can.
We don't care about their reactions, and I don't just at this point we don't care about your reaction. What I care about is can you even get to that point? Can you even get to a point where you can tell somebody a joke? And don't try to do it somebody other than your cat or your dog
Oh,
I
or
did.
your children while they're sleeping, you know. Anyway, it's
Just joke or like funny things.
you will figure it out. Wait, let's see what excuse number was that?
I did not
I like to
understand.
think things out before commencing. Jump into with two big feet there. Everybody, just give it a shot.
all right. Let's land this plane.
Thank you,
Bye
Nick.
bye.
I'll see you guys next Monday.